What's up, everybody? This is Cranked by Neef Beats at Hit Club Studios, and today we're going to go over my favorite and most used delay. And I'm pretty sure you guys can guess because a lot of people use this delay. It's like one of the most used delays, and it's the Waves H delay. If you use Waves, which most people use Waves because Waves plugins aren't really that taxing on your computer CPU power, but they also pack a good punch when it comes to great emulation, and a lot of these have been out for like a long time. So, I love this delay because it's easy to use, but also very surgical when it comes to getting the exact timing and vibe that you want from the delay, because the delay and the reverb kind of create the vibe for the song. You know what I mean? H delay is from the H series from Waves, and it's been around for probably like 15 to 20 years. It emulates some type of real gear, and I will say it does a damn good job at it. So here's H delay. It's orange. It's orange. So I'm going to just go over a few parameters and let you hear, and then I'm going to let you hear how I used it in this mix, which isn't a full mix. It's like a session that I recorded yesterday or whatever. But I used a lot of, I might not have. I used a lot of delay in this. So right here, you see some fractions, right? Fractions are basically, when it comes to timing and music, you have a meter, and that meter is, 4/4 time, 4 beats per measure. You know what I mean? So 4 beats per measure. And let's say if the tempo is 100. Well, you want your delay to come half of that, because if I say something and I want it to come in delay almost perfectly a certain second afterwards, like let's say this is 168 and this is 1/2. So that means if I was to put it on a bar, whatever I played, the delay would come in a bar later, given the tempo. So when you put it on 1/2, wherever it is, it comes in a half a bar later. So if I say, hey, hey, that would be the delay. Hey, 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 hey. 1/4 would be like, hey, 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 hey. And then 1/8 would be like, hey, 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 hey. And you just keep breaking it down. It's 1/16. Hey, 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 you know what I mean? So depending on what type of delay you want, this is how you dial that in. And if you just can't get the BPM right, which is beats per measure, you can just go to tap and tap it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you would go to milliseconds. You can just tap it in 1, 2, 3, 4, or whatever, and it'll get it for you. All right. 1/2 is probably the most used. It's probably the most used setting, because it's just 1/2 is that vibe. It's just like, it's in every song because it's like a call and response. I love you, girl. I love you, girl. You were my only one. You were my only. So that would be 1/2. The feedback is basically how long those delays hold out and what rate. You know what I mean? So if you have it all the way up here, it'll be like, hello, 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 forever. You know what I mean? For a long time. But down here to be like, if you have it right here, it'll be like, hello, hello. Up here to be like, hello, hello, hello. basically the higher the feedback is, the more delay you get. The filters are basically like, this is a high pass filter, as you can see. This is a low pass filter. So this basically takes that delay, instead of having it sound exactly like the vocal, you can make it sound like, telephone voice, microphone voice. This is dry or wet. You would only use this if you put this directly on the track, but any professional knows you don't put H delay. You don't put delays directly on the track. You put them on the aux. So you leave this all the way at 100. Output, you can move that around, whatever to taste. Analog, it just adds noise. As you can see, you hear that. It just adds, because this emulates real gear, and real gear makes noise. Modulation, this changes the rate. It basically modulates the rate modulates how fast it's played, because rate kind of goes more into tape and stuff, you know what I mean, and def and whatnot. You would kind of have to do your research, because it'd be hard to explain these two, but you wouldn't really need to use these two unless you were going for a certain effect. Lo-fi just gives it like a lo-fi feel, whatever. You can do your research on that. So let's get into it. So let's go. We're gonna exit. We're gonna open that back up. But I just want you to hear this mix.
These folks got to hear this shit. Trying to make it right. I fucked away so many times.
So you hear all of that delay. So this is 7 and 8. My delay is on 7 and 8, my H delay. So as you can see, it just gives it like that classic delay feel. Why would I open that one? It just gives it that classic delay feel. So this is 7 and 8. So let's go back down to that. And you see we have this. This is 7 and 8. So we're sending that to this delay, and as you can see,
these folks got to hear this shit. Trying to make it right. I fucked away so many times. Want you by my side.
So watch what happens when I turn the feedback up. It's kind of annoying. You're gonna hear it. You're gonna be like, what? So you see what happens. The feedback basically, it makes it loop for a long time. It keeps looping, and basically doesn't stop until the settings, until it's already went out to the full stop. But what happens is, as the music keeps playing, it'll just multiply, and all these sounds will just get stacked on top of each other, and it just becomes jumbled. So usually you would use a feedback that high on a single note if you wanted it to just go like this, like. And then you all right. So you get the picture. That was horrible. That's not musical, and nobody wants to hear that. But it was just a representation. So I like to keep the feedback low, of course, so it doesn't get that jumbled. So let's go deeper into the song.
Right, I know I fucked up.
You know what I'm saying? It just gives it that vibe and see on here, I don't even have it sent to the reverb. You always want to send your delay to the reverb just to give it a little air. Because if everything else has reverb on it and the delay is all dry, it just doesn't make sense. Okay. So, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. So, when you're using delay, it's just like using a reverb. I made a video for that. Any type of time-based effect or any type of effect that you don't want over the whole sound to control the whole sound, you put it on an aux channel. You go to your sends, you create a bus, and you use that bus to send the signal to the aux channel. And the aux channel, that bus will be able to blend the sound, from the original sound that is adding to that reverb. Like so, as you can see, I have this is my vocal bus right here. These are my vocal tracks. I have all of these sent to bus 1 and 2, and then I have these are the sends. You get more than this many sends, but this is all I needed. Dang, my computer moves a little slow when I'm streaming. So as you can see, I'm sending all of these, and you should have them labeled. I made a video about that, but sometimes I don't be having them labeled because I just know. So cool. So as you can see, 5 and 6. 5 and 6 is my reverb. 7 and 8 is my delay. 9 and 10 is another plugin that I'm not going to show you because I'll just make you guys wait for that. And then I have another reverb. Sometimes I like to use 2 reverbs if I want to blend or if I just want a different style on something else. And then I have another plugin right here. And they're just all blent. I'm blending them. Some of them lower, some of them higher, as you can see, or whatever. So I send my main vocals to the delay. When I always have a 1/2, unless the tempo is very slow, and you have to go with maybe a 1/4. You know what I mean? Just because you want it to kind of vibe a certain way. So a good rule of thumb with every song is to send your main vocals to the delay. And I always pan them a little to the right because that's just for another day, but you don't want everything in the middle. So the bus controls what level and where, meaning panning. So as you can see, this is 7 and 8, the 7 and 8 bus. You can control where that vocal is going to be panned, how the signal is panned before it comes into the H delay. So I have mine going a little to the right because, I have the main vocals in the middle, but slightly, very, very ever so slightly to the left. So I would want to put the delays to the right so it kind of gives it, so you can hear it, it spreads it out, and it gives it some depth. You know what I mean? Got to use your panning along with your delay. But that's pretty much it, man. I mean, delay is pretty easy. Like, it's not too much to it. Most people know how to use it. Oh, ping pong. Ping pong bounces your delay around. I want you to hear this.
Right, I know I fucked up, trying to lead through the night.
So ping pong bounces your vocals from left to right. That's all it does. And it uses the same parameters that you have here. It just bounces it from left to right so that, if you want that vibe or whatever. And that's it. That's H delay, and why I like to use it, and how you would use a H delay in a mix setting in real life, not necessarily just for beats or just for how you would use it. And the most practical thing I would tell you guys, if you're just getting into mixing, always send your vocals to a 1/2 delay. And as you can see, I have it so low. Don't have it high, because once you start mastering and compressing things, it'll be so loud. You kind of just want it in the background, so when there's a pause.
Right, I know I fucked up. Tryna lead through the night. I cheated, and better believe it. It won't work. It won't work. It gave you birth.
So it's really just for a vibe, and every R&B artist does it. Every hip hop artist does it. So if you're into R&B and hip hop, you have to do this. I do it in every song, so I'm giving you a gem. You just got to know how to control it, how to not make it jumble your mix up. So do a little bit of your own research, but if you want an easy, very powerful delay, use H delay if you have waves. That's it. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.